Hello friends, welcome to JavaEE EJB-JPA tutorial. In this sub-series, we are learning about the JPAQL, Java Persistent API query language. In the last video, we talked about the basics of JPAQL, and when we progress through this sub-series and next sub-series, we will learn further details about more complex JPAQL. In the previous video, we learned about the basics of JPAQL. Alright, now in this video, we will learn the search account HTML form. That means here we are going to create a search account HTML form. So in this sub-series, we will create different search technique, and that search techniques will make use of query language of JPA. So these are all the basics we learned in our previous video. Alright, now we will go ahead with the HTML content. So here, if you see, we are creating the form action, and the action takes place in query savings account. So form action takes place in query savings account servlet, and we have a table, and so these are all just a cascading style information. So we set some background color and other details. So our form consists of a title. The title is search savings account. So in the previous video, we created links to add a savings account, and then to update the balance, that's the transaction. Then we can even delete the savings account. Alright, so our first search is account ID. Then here user will enter account ID, then they will click the search. And if you see, this is the table row for that table data, account ID. So this is a label, and then we have a text field. After that, we have a search button. So each table row defines those fields, and if you see, it's just a static label, account ID. Then we have input, so this is a second table data, TD1. This one is here. This will be the second table data, and here we have a input type, and the control type is a text, and name we are giving it as a PID, so person ID or account ID we can state. So PID is unique on the savings AC table, and once you click search, here we won't use JPAQL, we will use the entity manager.find, and we will retrieve the database record, convert that as entity, and that entity will get returned. So okay, that's our first search, and this is simply a submit button on the third table data, and you can see how a row is formulated. Account ID, a text field, then user can click search. Here we numbered it as 1, 2, 3, and you can see the similar controls formed in the HTML table row. So this is one table row. Inside that we formed all this. The next table row is for person name. Here you can enter the name of the person. Since person name is not a key field in our savings AC table, here we need to use a JPAQL. So again 1, 2. So here I am not giving a sequential number, so still you can understand. And this is our first table data, or first column in a row, second row. This is first row, and after this you will see the second row, and we have person name, static text. After that, as usual, we have a text field, and here we are giving name as p name. Here this is PID, and here this one is a p name. Next we have a submit button. So this is submit 1 name, and this one is a submit 2. And all other field, if you see, type submit same, value still same, search. So the only stuff that is changing between these two search buttons are the name. So the first one is submit 1, 3, input name, submit 1. Here it is submit 2. This will be our third row, and if you see, we have a balance. Here user can type the balance, then they can perform the search. So input name is balance here, type is text. Then third one is also a submit button. Input name is type is submit, and name is submit 3. Value still we are using search. So all these three search differs by its name. Name is submit 1, here name we gave it as submit 2, here it is submit 3. Value is common for all three, so the value will get displayed here, right? That's why we use search. So all are searched. By looking at the form, user will understand that they are giving the account ID and doing the search. That means they are doing the search based on the account ID. Similarly, if you take here, user types the person name, then they perform a search. So the balance search actually depends on other fields as well. Here you are seeing radio controls. So these are all the HTML form controls. There are 3 radio buttons, and so name, if you see, balance search, and type is the radio. Value here we are giving it as -1, so this is the less static label. Then input name, once again balance search, type is radio, here also it is radio. Value this time we are giving it as 0. Then input name balance search, value equal to 1, type is radio. So in all the cases, if you see, type we specify it as radio, and name, if you see, we are giving the same name. That means it groups all this stuff: balance search, and balance search. Value we are differing it. So if user puts less, then value will be -1. Here equal means 0, and if they ask more, value will be 1. So these two row will work together, and if you see, there is no search here. Search is available only here. For example, if I specify here 1000, and here the radio button that got selected is less, and when user clicks search, the saving account with balance less than 1000 will get retrieved and displayed. So here we will use JPAQL to write a query with a where condition, and we will retrieve the multiple entities. Why? Because there may be one or more entity that may qualify for a balance of less than 1,000, right? So that's all our HTML form. The final HTML form is get all accounts. So there is no filter here. It's almost equivalent to select star from a savings account. So this one we saw in the previous video itself. We wrote a, query only we saw. We wrote a JPAQL query, and we also wrote a native query, and we talked about how the JPAQL will get converted into the native query language format by the APIs. The API in the sense a Java persistence API. So since there is only one field here, you are seeing a column span of 3, and in each row, if you see, there are 3 table data. So our table displays like this. In each row we have 3 table data. Here get all accounts spans all 3 column. So that's why we specified call span of 3. So it's just HTML, and we have a separate video or course for HTML that explains all this. All right. Now it's a demo time. We will go to our Eclipse and create this HTML form. So here is our workspace, and we are loading this workspace for this sub-series 6. So if you look at the code, we follow a notation. If the code snippet is for sub-series 5, then we will specify it as //sample 5. So here, for example, this code is added as part of code snippet, the sub-series 5. And if I move above and if I look at some other bean, for example, here it's a stateful bean, right? Let me just open that. Here, if you see, we are seeing sample 2 dot. That means this is a sub-series 2 and code snippet 2. So that's how you have to read. Since we are continuing from our previous sub-series, you can follow this coding notation. All right, let me close all this, and we will go to our EJB web. This is the dynamic web application project. Here we will create a form for search. I'm choosing new HTML file, or go for other and type HTML. So here name we are giving it as a search AC. Saving account search form. So that's the HTML file we are creating. Template, we are choosing HTML5, and here I'm clicking finish. So code was already explained in the PowerPoint slide. So inside the body we are adding our form, then table, and other controls are added here. So these controls are organized via the table structure. So our table contains row 1, row 2, row 3, 4, and it's a 5-row table, 6 row actually, and inside each row we specify the control. Now we will go to the server. So all are saved, right? We will start the server. So you can see here our HTML is a 6-row content. You can expand and see how many rows are there. This will be the heading, and here if you see we have 3 table data, and each one represents a control. So here we are seeing our wildfly is started. I'll clear this, and we will add our EAR RQ. Remember, we added our HTML file inside this dynamic web content project, which is packed inside EJB EAR. So this saving account homepage, this is part of our previous videos. Using this, we can create a new account, we can update the balances, or we can even remove the account. We can do fund transfer, all those stuff we can do. Here we are creating a new form, and we will run this and see how it appears. It may take some time, we will wait. So this will be our form. So user can enter their account ID and they can click for search, and the account information will get displayed. Here they can type the person name and they can click search. When they type balance, they can choose all the account which are less than 1500 or equal to 1500 or more than 1500. So likewise it will get returned. So 3 field for 3 search, and this one is to get all the accounts without any filtration. If there are 20 records, all 20 records get displayed. Alright, that's all here. We will close this. We will stop the component. You will be seeing undeployed the EAR, so it will be safe now, and you can even remove it. So this will be a clean operation. Next time when you build, it won't collapse or you won't see any refreshing issue, all those stuff. So that's why at the end of each run we will be removing it. Here I am stopping the server, so server also stop. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.